If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Hello, self-developers, and welcome to the Patrick Kelly Podcast for Self-Development, where I will be reviewing audible books on self-development that can change your life for the better this year and years to come. It is said that if we keep on doing what we always did, we will keep on getting what we always got. In other words, to change our output, we first have to change our input. Today is April 11th, 2021, and this is episode 13, and today we'll be reviewing the audible book, Maximum Influence, 12 Universal Laws of Power Persuasion by Kurt W. Mortenson. This audible book combines scientific research with real-world studies on how to master the power of persuasion. You will learn how to read anyone instantly, get people to trust you, change others' minds, and convince people to do what is in their best interests. This audible book is the ultimate guide to the art and science of getting exactly what you want when you want it. Law number 1. The law of connectivity, contagious cooperation. The best way to double your income is to double your persuasion skills. The most important ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. The more someone feels connected to you, similar to you, liked by you, or attracted to you, the more persuasive you become. When you create an instant bond or connection, people will feel more comfortable and open around you. People do business with people they like and trust. Law number 2, the law of involvement. Create and maintain interest. Without involvement, there is no commitment. When you can get others involved, get them to participate, this makes it easier to persuade. The more you engage someone's 5 senses, involve them mentally and physically, and create that right atmosphere for persuasion, the more effective and persuasive you will be. Learn to ask questions. Questions stimulate a thinking response. Law number 3, the law of self-esteem. How praise releases energy. All humans need and want praise, recognition, and acceptance. The deepest principle of human nature is a craving to be appreciated. A persuader must have a healthy self-esteem. Self-esteem is dictated by how much you like yourself. High self-esteem people are more liked, appreciated, and have an easier chance of persuading someone. Helping your prospect feel important is a fail-proof place to start when trying to persuade. By feeding a person's ego, they become more persuadable. Law number 4, the law of obligation. How to get anyone to do a favor for you. Nothing is more costly than that which is given free of charge. The more you let someone persuade you, the more frequently the other party will reciprocate. Learn to create a need or obligation in the mind of the other person. If you do something for someone, they will be obligated to do something for you. The law of obligation works hand in hand with the law of reciprocity. If I do something for you, there will come a time for you to do something for me. Law number 5, the law of dissonance. Internal pressure is the secret. Cognitive dissonance is a psychological discomfort when someone's actions or decisions are not congruent with their values, beliefs, or past commitments. Dissonance helps people persuade themselves. Help people create their own internal pressure, and they will want to do what you want them to do. But do not push too hard or back someone into a corner, or this approach can backfire on you. We are only uncomfortable and want to change when our actions conflict with our beliefs. People who want to change are easily persuaded. Law number 6, the law of verbal packaging, the leverage of language. Real persuasion comes from putting more of you into everything you say. Words have an effect. Words loaded with emotion have a powerful effect. Over 60% of your day is spent in verbal communication, in which you can be persuading, explaining, influencing, motivating, or instructing. You can create movement, excitement, and vision with the words you use. The right words can be captivating, but the wrong words can be devastating. Your words can persuade or dissuade a person to do something that you want them to do. The words you use attract or repel your prospect. Be careful of the words that come out of your mouth. Law number 7, the law of association. Create the environment of influence. It is not the situation, it is a response to the situation. Once you understand the general rules, you can find the right associations to match any situation. When you use the right feelings, emotions, and thoughts, we can create a persuasive environment. Anchoring is a technique that captures the feelings, memories, and emotions of certain events, places, or things. An anchor can be anything that brings out the thought or feeling and reminds you of something that you have previously experienced. The more intense the experience, the stronger the anchor. Law number 8, the law of balance. Logical mind versus emotional heart. Logic and emotion must be blended and balanced. Emotions will trigger action. Logic will justify the agreement. The proper fusion of logic and emotion will speak to both the conscious and subconscious parts of the mind and increase your ability to persuade. We are persuaded by reason, but we are moved by emotion. Emotion always wins over logic. Imagination will always win over reality. People will do things based on emotion and then justify their action based on logic. Law number 9, the law of expectations, the impact of suggestion. What gets measured gets done. Individuals tend to make decisions based on how others expect them to behave or perform. As a result, people fulfill those expectations whether they're positive or negative. If you believe in others and expect them to succeed, they usually will. When you create the right expectations, you will change people's behavior. Always expect with confidence. We project expectations in our voice, in our actions, and in our choice of words. Law number 10, the law of contrast. How to make price or time a non-issue. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. The perception of value will always trump price. People will not be persuaded to buy something unless they think that they are getting value for their money. Always be willing to sweeten the deal. The sweeter the deal, the more persuaded a person would be to spend their money. Reducing it to the ridiculous is another persuasion method. By telling a prospect that the $100 per month is really $25 per month or $3.33 per day, the prospect will be persuaded to buy. Law number 11, the law of social validation, the art of social pressure. We all have an innate desire to belong to a social group. We tend to change our perceptions, opinions, and behaviors in ways that are consistent with group norms. We seek to find out what others are doing as a way of validating our own actions. We see a behavior as correct when we see others doing it. We make fewer mistakes when we follow the social norm. People will hesitate to do something based on an opinion, but be persuaded to do things based on a testimony. Law number 12, the law of scarcity. Get anyone to take immediate action. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. The thrill of winning usually outweighs the pain of the increased price. The more scarcer an item becomes, the more the item increases in value and the greater the urge is to own it. Scarcity drives people to action, making us act quickly for the fear of missing out on an opportunity. The fear of loss is a bigger persuader than the hope of gain. Scarcity increases the value of any product, opportunity, or service. When it comes to persuasion, the law of scarcity works, but only when you use it correctly. Closing thoughts. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this audible book a 4 for providing 12 laws about power persuasion. I would have given this audible book a 5 if it were not for the long stories in between each law. To find out more about maximum influence and the 12 universal laws of power persuasion, go to audible.com and download this audible book, or go to www.maximuminfluence.com. This is the end of this podcast for today. Tune in next week Sunday for the next episode and the next audible book of over 300 books that I'll be reviewing on the Patrick Kelly Podcast for Self-Development. If you enjoyed this podcast, take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. This really helps me out. Feel free to share this podcast with someone you care about. And remember, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Take care.